A woman who is nothing to everyone is the only one who can become everything to someone. Her emptiness is her potential. Concept of the tabula rasa in Dark Femininity. Most people are slaves to their reactions. They see a headline, a conflict, or a social cue, and they feel a biological itch to react. This is common. It is predictable. And in the world of power, predictability is a death sentence. By mastering the art of having no opinion, you detach yourself from the herd. You are no longer a consumer of drama. You are its architect. Welcome, Architects of Influence, to Ella Nara. Today, we delve into a counterintuitive truth, one rarely spoken aloud, but frequently demonstrated by those who truly wield power. We're going to explore the profound strength found not in vociferous debate, not in staunch declarations, but in the strategic, deliberate absence of opinion. There's a subtle but significant difference between being indecisive and being discerningly silent. The world often demands our views, pushes us to pick a side, to declare our allegiance. But what if the greatest leverage, the most potent influence, lies in resisting that urge? What if the art of not having an opinion is, in fact, the ultimate power move? Let's start with a foundational idea, one that resonates deeply within the chambers of strategic thought: the power of observation over declaration. When you withhold your opinion, you create space. Space to listen, to learn, to analyze without the bias of your own preconceived notions. Think of it this way. When you express an opinion, you've shown your hand. You've given away a piece of your strategic position. Those who observe without commitment gain an unparalleled advantage. The highest wisdom is to know when to speak your mind and when to keep it shut. Machiavelli in principle. This isn't about being passive or disengaged. Quite the opposite. It's about active listening, keen observation, and strategic withholding. It's about allowing others to reveal themselves, their motivations, their weaknesses, and their strengths, while you remain a sphinx, an enigma whose true intentions are unknown. This position grants you immense flexibility and control. You are not bound by previous statements, free to adapt and pivot as the situation demands. Consider the psychological impact. When you refrain from immediate judgment or strong opinion, you become a blank canvas onto which others project their own desires, fears, and assumptions. They will try to fill the void you create, often revealing more about themselves in the process than they intend. This is psychological gold. You become the quiet center, the unmoving point around which others orbit, seeking your reaction, your approval, or simply a clearer understanding of your stance. Never reveal all of yourself to others. Hold back something in reserve so that people are always curious about you. Robert Greene, The 48 Laws of Power. Law 3, Conceal Your Intentions. Greene's wisdom, while often applied to concealing intentions, is profoundly relevant here. By not having an opinion, you effectively conceal your intellectual and emotional intentions. You maintain an air of mystery, an allure that draws people in. They will work harder to understand you, to impress you, to gain your favor, precisely because you haven't made it easy for them. This creates a power dynamic where you are constantly being pursued rather than being the one pursuing validation or agreement. Now, let's explore this through the lens of dark femininity. The Femme Fatale archetype, for example, rarely lays all her cards on the table. Her power often lies in her enigma, her subtle influence, and her ability to evoke strong reactions in others while remaining coolly detached herself. Her opinions, if she shares them, are carefully calibrated, never impulsive. She understands that emotional expression, especially strong opinions, can be perceived as a weakness, a vulnerability that can be exploited. Charm is the ability to make someone think that you are admirable, even when you're being indifferent. Marlene Dietrich. Dietrich, a master of allure, understood that indifference, when packaged correctly, could be far more captivating than overt enthusiasm. In the context of opinions, strategic indifference allows you to remain above the fray, untainted by petty squabbles or fleeting trends. It positions you as an arbiter, a judge who has yet to render a verdict, rather than a participant entangled in the emotional mess of the moment. Consider political figures, powerful CEOs, or indeed any master strategist. Rarely do they rush to offer their unfiltered opinions on every subject. Instead, they absorb, they process, they wait. They understand that an opinion, once voiced, can be used against them. It can limit their options, box them into a corner, or reveal their strategic direction prematurely. The absence of opinion is a shield, a cloak, and a weapon, all at once. Speak only if it improves upon silence. Spanish proverb. This ancient wisdom cuts to the heart of it. Does your opinion, in that moment, genuinely improve upon the profound power of your silence? Does it enhance your position, further your goals, or strategically influence the outcome? If not, then perhaps silence is the more potent choice. This isn't about deceit. It's about discernment. It's about understanding that not every thought needs to be externalized, not every belief needs to be declared. So how do we cultivate this art? It begins with self-awareness, recognizing the impulse to speak, to declare, to align, then gently resisting it. Practice active listening without forming an immediate rebuttal. Observe interactions as an impartial analyst. When asked for your opinion, you can employ techniques like, "That's an interesting perspective. I'll have to give that some thought. I'm still gathering all the information." Or simply a calm, knowing smile and a change of subject. The goal is not to be evasive, but to be impenetrable, to be a person of substance whose thoughts are so valuable, so carefully constructed, that they are not to be squandered on every passing whim or superficial debate. This positions you as someone whose eventual opinion, when it is shared, carries immense weight and authority, precisely because it is rare and considered. The more you say, the more common you appear, and the less in control. Even if you say something banal, it will seem original if you make it vague, open-ended, and sphinx-like. Robert Greene. 48 Laws of Power. There is a psychological phenomenon known as horror vacui, the fear of empty space. When you refuse to offer an opinion, you create a conversational void. Most people are terrified of this silence. They find it uncomfortable, even predatory. To soothe their own anxiety, they will begin to talk. They will over-explain, reveal their secrets, and offer up their own vulnerabilities just to fill the silence you've created. He who knows does not speak. He who speaks does not know. Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching, The Philosophy of the Mirror. By remaining neutral, you become a mirror. When you don't project your own truth, people see only themselves reflected in you. If they are insecure, they will see your silence as judgment. If they are arrogant, they will see it as agreement. In both cases, you gain the upper hand because you are seeing their unvarnished reality, while your own remains perfectly guarded. When you refuse to choose a side, you unintentionally position yourself above the sides. In any conflict, the two opposing parties eventually grow tired. When they look for a mediator, a judge, or a leader, They don't look for someone who was down in the mud with them. They look for the one who stayed clean. Your lack of opinion isn't a lack of intelligence. It is a display of sovereignty. You are showing the world that nothing is important enough to disturb your inner peace or bait you into a reaction. The art of not having an opinion is not about apathy. It is about absolute control. Control over your narrative, control over your influence, and ultimately, control over the power dynamics in your life. It allows you to move through the world with a quiet strength, observing, learning, and strategizing, while others exhaust themselves in the clamor of constant declaration. Embrace the silence. Embrace the enigma. Embrace the power. When someone asks for your opinion on something trivial, a celebrity scandal, a workplace drama, a political trend, simply give them a slight, enigmatic smile and say, "I find the situation too nuanced for a simple opinion just yet." Watch how their energy shifts. Watch how they suddenly treat you with a new level of respect and perhaps a little bit of fear. Because the woman who cannot be provoked into an opinion is a woman who cannot be controlled. In the comments, don't tell me your opinion on this video. Instead, tell me a time when your silence won you a battle you didn't even have to fight. Thank you for joining me on Ella Nara. If this resonates with you, if you seek to master the subtle arts of influence, then like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, stay enigmatic, stay powerful.